Let's be reasonable. We're not gonna
State
have.
your name, please, sir.
Larry Nightingale.
All right, Larry.
We're not gonna have 100 animals in this place. There's no way. I'm not, I know Kristen, but you're not gonna, I mean, 100 animals, you're talking way off your head.
We don't get
You
personal here,
know,
sir. We
let's
don't get
be
personal.
reasonable.
Yeah,
Could I respond to that?
no, just wait. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Please state your
I
name, sir.
moved, I'm Gordon Merrick. I moved to Arundel because it's a small town. I bought a piece of property for a retirement shop. Every time I went to build my shop, the laws changed. I was guaranteed when I bought it, I could build my shop. I finally had to get a variance. The variance wasn't registered. This is not the Arundel I moved into. That is not the Arundel I moved into. We were a welcoming town. It's not happening. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Let me back to Rich now.
Okay. This has nothing to do with Run Through the Run. This opens the door to anybody in any spot in town that wants to have that size of a dog kennel. There are no regulations on
We
it.
don't
That's
get
the
it-
reason I'm against it.
Don't get into arguments between
Oh,
us.
no.
Direct everything through me.
That's the reason I'm against it.
Got it. Yes, state your name, please.
Okay, my name is Saul Feder. Okay, I grew up in Nevada, and it was very common for potable water to be brought in, okay, for animals, including animals exceeding 100. So I don't think there's any problem with that, especially when the statute expects a reasonable amount of water there for the animals.
Thank you, sir.
Thumbs up.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to stand?
Please. State your name, please, Stacy.
Stacy Gaia. So I have to read mine because I do better that way.
Okay.
I'd like to verbally express my concerns regarding the proposed change to the land use ordinance specific to eliminating the requirement for indoor plumbing for a dog daycare facility. I had provided written comment stating my objections to the planning board, which was read into the record on September 12th. As I stated in my comments at that time, I've been a dog owner for 25 years. Dogs I have now have been daycare dogs for their entire lives, going on 12 years now. In my experience with daycare facilities in Saco and Portland, constant access to hot water is crucial to maintaining a clean and sanitary facility. I made reference in my comments to my experience with Jean Labonte and her facility, Plaza Around in Saco, and the exemplary way it was maintained. In reviewing the video of the September 12th meeting, I noted the applicant made comment that Jean had visited her location and said it was fine. I spoke to Jean last night and made her aware that her name was being referenced into this discussion. Jean indicated she was asked by the applicant to write a letter, and I see the letter is included here. And she said that she was not asked her opinion regarding the need for indoor plumbing, nor would she have supported the idea that a daycare facility should not be equipped with indoor plumbing. She is unable to attend this evening as she's moose hunting up north with her husband. She did not have access to email, but sent me a text following our phone conversation that she asked to be read into the record. I've typed it to make it easier to read. I can provide screenshots of it if you wish. She directed her remarks to Dan. She wasn't sure who the chair was at this point. And the text read as follows. To Mr. Dan Du Bois, I have requested this be read on the September 23rd meeting as I'm unable to attend in person. This letter is in regards to a dog daycare facility that Chris Woodward from Arundel, Maine would like to operate. I forwarded a letter to the town of Arundel. It was sent during late winter of 19, again it's in this packet. The town should still have this letter in their files. This was the last discussion on the letter with Chris. No other discussions from there were made. My name should not be brought into this discussion. Also, I'd like to add the importance of having indoor plumbing with hot and cold water available at all times. Dogs do urinate on walls and floors. Sometimes they may become sick and end up regurgitating their meal in their crates, which needs to be cleaned and sanitized. Cleaning up at the end of the day also requires mopping the floors. The importance of sanitizing the facility is fatal in the dog world due to certain bacteria and viruses that can spread and kill. Sincerely, Jean Labonte, former owner of Plaza. In conclusion, she's not in favor of this change. I am not in favor of this change. And as I understand it, the planning board presented this to the Board of Selectmen with an ought not to pass recommendation.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Dan.
May I ask the chairman to have the people who are responding turn or something so we can hear
Oh,
it?
you can't hear? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes, sir.
James Cressy, Arundel resident. Concerning having a hose for water, when I go to the fire department to get a fire permit, I could possibly burn down my house, I could burn down my neighbor's house, I could burn all the woods around, I could burn all of Arundel down. All I'm required to have is a hose in order to keep the fire at bay. And I think that having a hose with running water, where it specifies that you must have suitable containers to transport water to the facility, that should be adequate enough for the lady to have her doggy daycare. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Nightingale.
Did she meet all the recommendations for what she wanted by the planning board or whoever?
I'm sorry, state that
Did she
again.
meet everything that was required for her? Why does this keep on dragging on?
I can't answer that question.
Well, somebody ought to.
We're here to discuss this audit.
Yes, but
Okay, so
somebody
I mean-
ought to find out why it keeps on dragging.
Exactly.
I mean, how long has it been?
You have an opportunity here this evening to vote on this article. Okay, that's what we're here to do.
This will be the end of it then, right?
I'm not on the planning board, sir, so I don't know. Anybody else have a comment on the article? Yes, Dan.
Dan DuBois, through the chair, I'd like to ask the applicant, or the one that's asking for this. There's an elimination of segregating aggressive dogs. What steps are in place to take care of that, the aggressive dog issue?
Woodard, are you here?
Yeah.
State your name, Chris, please.
Chris Woodward, I will not be accepting aggressive dogs. Dogs will have an interview before they're accepted. Any aggressive dog, anyone that displays any kind of aggressive behavior will not be accepted into daycare. I have my waiver that states that on the waiver. If dogs start to have aggressive behavior, they will not be welcome back. So there will be no aggressive dogs allowed.
Thank you, Chris. Any other comments? Questions? Yes, please, Jeff.
Chip Bassett. I just wanted to point out that this is the second set of amendments being made to the land use ordinance by the applicant because the applicant was unwilling or unable to meet the requirements of the land use ordinance. I do think what the land use ordinance says about plumbing facilities is not specific to doggy daycare. What it says is for any conditional use, there should be adequate plumbing facilities. And that then puts the determination of what is adequate onto the planning board. That's what the planning board's there for. The planning board has determined that adequate would be to have running water inside the daycare facility. But I think it's a bad precedent to carve out adequate plumbing facilities just for this one specific applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no other comments then, I'll put Article 3 to the voters. All in favor of Article 3 as written, please indicate by raising your yellow cards. All opposed? Article 3 passes. Article 4, the town vote to adopt local option exceptions for residents permanently stationed or deployed for military services outside the state, which allows an exemption for excise tax as described in MRSA, Title 36, Section 1483-A. There's an explanation here.
Folks, we have one more article to vote on right now, so please.
Did everybody hear that?
No.
You want me to repeat Article 4?
Yes, please.
Shall the town vote to adopt local option exemption for residents permanently stationed or deployed for military service outside the state, which allows the exemption of excise tax as described in MRSA Title 36, Section 1483-A. There's an explanation below which also has a complete recitation of the statute which allows for this municipality to adopt this exception if they choose to do so. All in favor? Can I have a motion with respect to Article 4? Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Mr. Nightingale, please.
Sorry.
All in favor of Article 4, please indicate by raising your yellow card. All opposed? Article 4 passes. That concludes all the articles. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the special town meeting. All in favor? We are adjourned.
Take 5 minutes.
She still has to go before the planning board, correct?
Come before us, and she still has to meet the ordinance. Not my fault.
I'm with you. If
I
it
was
doesn't,
gonna grab Mr. Knight.
That's for hiding.
Oh, yeah.